It has been exactly 51 years since Indonesia won our first ever medal and gold medal in the Olympic Games. In the span of that 51 years, we have only managed to grab another 7 gold medals throughout 11 Olympic Summer Games. Compared to other Asian countries such as China, who have participated in 5 less Olympics than Indonesia and yet have achieved 262 gold medals in between them. Currently, we are sitting at the 16th position out of 154 countries when it comes to achievements in the Olympics. And although this may seem like a pretty good spot in the list, the difference between us and the top 10 countries is massive. Up till now, the only international event where we can even partially dominate is the Southeast Asian Games. Now, how exactly do we raise the bar and start targeting worldwide events, such as the World Cup, Olympics, and other prestigious tournaments? Good day to you, my name is Ghaffar Efraim Tamba, and I am here today to talk about our nation's sports. I've been a swimming athlete for more than 3 years, and throughout time, there are many things that I've learned from our capability when it comes to sports. Until now, I can see how far behind we are compared to other countries when it comes to this, and so I've decided to address the issue. Most people think that the key to Indonesia breaking through on an international level is to train harder. Or maybe that the reason that we aren't breaking through is because we lack physique. But although that is true to some extent, it doesn't cover up the whole thing. We can't continually rely on the hopes that someone will turn up with the perfect training and talent. We need to change something entirely on a national scale. One of the greatest barriers that us as Indonesians have is the mindset of our athletes. I consider that people's mindsets are divided into 2 parts: their dreams and their targets. The Indonesian dream. I win on the international level, carrying my country's flag, singing the national anthem, and bringing the honor of 273 million Indonesians. On the other hand, the Indonesian mindset. I will try my best to win on the domestic or international stage, and if possible, maybe even compete on the highest level. Most even skip out on the competing part and stick with the aim of becoming just domestic or national champion. This mindset is something that has been dragging us down for a long time. When we compare this to other countries like China, who will set the goal of young athletes in training to compete internationally. As an example, let's take a look at arguably the most popular sport in Indonesia, football. Available to play anywhere, anytime, and virtually with anything. This sport is without a doubt the nation's favorite sport. And yet, although it is the most popular sport, Indonesia is currently in the 151st rank out of 211 countries in the FIFA World Rankings. Compare this to badminton, where Indonesia have made it in the top 5 spots of the men's singles, men's doubles, and women's doubles. You see, in football, we still haven't found a player that the younger generation can look up to, while in badminton, we have multiple Olympic medalists and many international champions. Although it may not seem like a big deal, it is exactly this what differentiates the mindset of our football athletes to our badminton athletes. When our Indonesian athletes achieve on an international level, this helps the confidence of other athletes from the same category. If my teammate can do it, then why can't I? And this is exactly what other sports in Indonesia, aside from badminton, lack. So, exactly what do we have to do to improve our nation's sport performances? Well, one of the simplest answers is actually something that all of us can do. Based on what I told you above, your mindset can have a huge impact on the performance level of an athlete. Their performances in real life will be determined by the mindset that you have forced them into. And as a community, we can force the champion's mentality onto each other, pushing each other to our limits, and in the process, creating an intense competition between Indonesian athletes. If you have a friend or a family that is an athlete, help them build up their self-confidence. Little by little, the confidence will spread throughout our athletes and coaches, further improving them in training. And with the correct treatment, the results will not disappoint the efforts. All of this should be further supported by the government, working on funding our national teams, helping them out with their coaching, medical, and nutritional staff. Indonesian businesses can also help by working together with the government, sponsoring athletes and helping to increase their motivation. And with the entire nation pitching in on the improvisation of our sports, we will slowly but surely rise up towards international glory.
Hello everyone! You just saw my artwork. What do you think? Well, I hope you like them. But even if you don't, it's really not a big deal to me. Because hey, we don't make history by being liked, do we? Moreover, art is all about preferences. My name is Almira Arista, and I am all about drawing. Allow me to tell you why. So, it all started when I was just a little girl. I've always been into cartoons and comics. I even used to wake up earlier than my mom just to watch my favorite cartoons. I would go bananas for it. I even found myself buying a new series of my favorite manga. It's called Miko. It is because Ono Eriko Sensei, as the creator of Miko, always finds a way to amaze me with such beautiful and lifelike characters, using only 2D black and white drawing on a gray paper. I found it really intriguing and started to embark on my drawing hobby right then. My favorite thing to draw is humans. Their expressions, their hairstyles, their outfits, and their poses. From then on, I learned that they are all about details and techniques. That has brought me to where I am today. I am currently studying multimedia in a public vocational high school. I get to sharpen my drawing and illustrating skills there. And not only that, I also do graphic design, animation, and movie making every single week. It feels so good to be doing what I'm passionate about. Even 9 hours of school does not seem like enough for me. At home, I'll keep practicing drawing using my personal laptop and pen tab all night long. It is because I am very much aware of how lacking I am at drawing human anatomy that it grows my desire to keep on practicing and practicing to improve my techniques. I have never felt like my creations are good enough. It may sound quite pessimistic to some other people, but it's a good thing for me to feel so. Thus, I will continue practicing and coming up with new ideas. For the most part, that is all what passion is all about. It is the only thing that gives you the motivation to push through obstacles and the fuel to top of your cup when you're feeling low. So, don't ever speculate what your life is going to be like if you embrace your passion. Instead, start doing it right now. My name is Almira Arista, and I am passionate about drawing. And how about you? What is your passion?
Lego. What is Lego? Well, Lego is a line of plastic construction toys that are manufactured by Lego Group in Billund, Denmark. Lego is a toy line consists of sets that include different colored interlocking plastic bricks with an array of parts such as gears, minifigures, and other various unique pieces that can be put together or constructed to create builds or creations. But why am I telling you all this? Well, that's because I love Lego. Hello, my name is Devondra Fataputra, and I'm from SMA Negeri 2 Gunung Putri, and today I'm going to tell you about one of my hobbies. It all started back when I was only a toddler in the 2000s. I saw my brother playing with his Lego one day, and he made a spaceship. So I started copying him and also made a spaceship. It didn't look good or anything, I just matched together random pieces until to me it looked like something. But the experience I had when playing was so much fun. The way everything clicked and connected to each other was so satisfying. After that, I kept playing with my brother's Lego and we built a lot of stuff together. And then, my parents bought me some Lego sets for myself. Here's one. Using the instructions they came with, I made a lot of cool builds, such as vehicles, animals, and even robots. The instructions were very easy to follow and super fun to do, and the final products were always so much fun to play with. So, I play with them all the time. Some even had fun little gimmicks to make them more interesting and playable. But that was only half the experience. Lego builds can be very fragile and can break easily if you accidentally drop them. But the beauty of Lego is that you can put it all back together or remake it into something new. And that's exactly what I did next, as I took apart those original sets and started remaking and rebuilding them using my imagination and creativity. At first they weren't great. Once again, without the instructions, I just mashed together random pieces until it looked good. My first builds of cars and robots had random colored pieces, funky proportions, and all in all had terrible designs. But then, I got the hang of building and made better designs and builds. I made many original builds using my Lego that ranges from cars, aircrafts, robots, and many, many more. Using my imagination and creativity when building with Lego is one of my favorite things to do. Whenever I feel bored, I just pop open a box of Legos and just play around and build stuff, and it's always such a fun time. But that doesn't mean Lego is just simple, mindless fun. Lego also gives many benefits. As a kid, I grew up to be more creative and intuitive because of Lego. I developed many skills, such as problem solving, creative thinking, planning, shape and color knowledge, and even gained some perseverance. And not only that, Lego also benefits adults. According to a report made by the Lego Group in 2022, they surveyed almost 33,000 parents and adults, and out of those adults, it has been stated that 93% of them constantly feel stressed, while 86% have said Lego helps them to relax. 78% have claimed that it helped with their own well-being, and 76% have said it was fundamental to their happiness. Why is that? What makes these bricks so relaxing to play with? Well, that's because they let you focus on the present moment and not let you think or worry about the past or the future. Being fully immersed in something will get you into a flow state and be fully present during the moment. To children, this helps them create an attention span. The more a child is immersed or lost in an activity, the more their ability to focus develops. To adults, it improves their mental health and reduces stress. Lego has proven to have many benefits, but there are a few negatives. Luckily, they're all mostly environmental or financial problems that can be solved by recycling, reselling, or giving away old Lego sets when unused. Lego also acknowledges the impact of its operations in areas such as climate change and have helped to stop or reduce it, and they have been very successful. Lego has been constantly helping the world to make it a better place and have a better future. So join me and let's make a better future together.
Education is the art of making men ethical. Hi, I'm Krisna Rajendra Gunawan, and I want individuals to have a good understanding and commitment towards their education, as how education can transform society with improved living standards and opportunities for all. One of the most important aspects in a human's lives is one's individual development. As we all know it, in today's world, sometimes being good is not enough. It is crucial that we strive on keep on being better every single day and to be the best version of ourselves. It is our natural interest to live a productive and a very meaningful life, and someday to leave a legacy. All that is done by contributing to goods for ourselves, but most importantly for other people. The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn, Carl Rogers said. Ladies and gentlemen, in this wonderful opportunity, allow me to convey and discuss about how education can be a great empowerment to open millions of ways for us to achieve all those greatness in life, and why is it very important for individuals and society to invest in the right and proper education. First and foremost, education equips us with the most basic and common knowledge. It really has a wide spectrum of knowledge, starting with learning how to read, how to write, to make friends, do basic math. All of these, realize it or not, are actually essential for us now to do our daily activity and to socialize as a human being. But furthermore, it can also provide us with specialized information and skills if we want to pursue a very particular career or field of study. For example, doctor must receive their medical degree for them to have the authority to diagnose and treat patients. The same thing goes for engineers. Before they can make buildings and machines that are safe to use, they must go to engineering school and receive their degree, right? So without education, people would not have the proper ability for them to succeed in their chosen fields, leading to a lack of productivity in our society that would bring no growth whatsoever. But then secondly, talking about productivity, I believe that education plays a crucial role with promoting economic growth. It is well established that a level of education are correlating a lot with economic success. Countries with higher level of education tend to have higher productivity, higher income, more job opportunities, less poverty, and overall it's generating a more better and higher economic growth, right? Of course, this is very likely due to how skilled workers in these countries can produce more output in less time. But beyond all of its economic advantages, education can also play a role in political and societal harmony. How so? Notice that a healthy democracy also requires one independent thought, with creativity and critical thinking, all of these in which are fostered by the proper education. It can also open up our mind about a lot of cultures and perspectives around us that will teach us how to be more understanding and a sense of tolerance for differences. It can really open and expand up our mind about what are we living on today in this world, right? And all these can help us to be a more open-minded person that are able to navigate diverse and complex societal situations that might happen any moment. Ladies and gentlemen, sure enough, education is not the only way to reach that success, nor it will guarantee one. However, it will significantly increase the opportunities to reach that by providing valuable skills, building confidence, making better and more rational decisions, and of course, all of these social connections that are priceless. Overall, there's nothing to lose about pursuing a great education. In conclusion, education transforms lives, societies, communities, and even the entire nations by them unlocking human potential, breaking the cycle of poverty, and promoting a more advanced economic and societal growth, and also to reduce inequality. By making people can participate in their own community and make an impact in their society is truly something that we would want. By giving them the ability to solve a lot of challenges that they might face in society, education brings peace and a sense of security in humans' life. Through my speech today, I urge you to stay committed to your education. Always strives for excellence and to never stop learning. Ladies and gentlemen, the world needs your contribution. And I hope that my speech today can serve an example of that contribution. Thank you very much for listening and have a very nice day. God bless you all.
Imagine if you were ridiculed by other people. Imagine if you were criticized by your environment. Imagine if you were body shamed by your friends, even your teachers. And imagine if you were rejected just because the condition of your body and face did not meet the standards of your surroundings. So you never believed in yourself and let the evil talk inside your mind to hurt others and yourself and normalize that in life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not an imaginary anymore for me, but an experience that was so scary. I've been through all of this for more than 6 years since I was in elementary school. People around me made fun of me, made fun of my physique, and they exclude me just because I had a fat body and physique that doesn't look so good. It's tough for me, but I was very happy to meet the people closest to me who always supported me and said that, "Dear Ali, being yourself without caring what other people say is what you need to do in life. Believe me, all the words and deeds they do will come back to them." So, for all those who are watching me right now, please pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth and examine whether they are necessary and important to say, because basically our tongue has no one, but it's powerful to destroy everyone's heart. Well, hi everyone, my name is Ali Umri and I am an international relations student from UIN Jakarta. Today, I'm standing here, I would like to deliver a very important message with the topic, the sweetest revenge for the bully. First and foremost, let me briefly define what bullying is. So, bullying is actually aggressive and intentional behavior or activities that lead to verbal or non-verbal violence by groups of people or individuals. This is very common and mostly happen in adolescence. Everyone who bullies does this for some reason just to satisfy himself and aims to make them feel stronger, much better and more dominant in society. Do you know, according to PISA, study in 2018 said that in Indonesia, students aged 15 have experienced bullying for at least a few times a month, and a significant number of them choose to terminate their life by committing suicide. Surprisingly, isn't it? Therefore, this is the reason why I want to convey ways or solutions for those of you out there who are struggling and fighting bullying to survive together with me. So, are you ready? Let's go. To begin with, don't ever respond to what they say. Usually they can't tell which ones are suggestions and which ones are damaging. When you feel he's making fun of you, walk away and never respond back. Then, if bullying takes place online, use the report feature to help you report the perpetrators and block fake accounts that bully you via social media. Next, you can try to take a break from toxic friendships or relationships with people around you. To be honest, losing toxic people is a win. You should try it. Furthermore, make the most of your free time by doing something productive such as pursuing a hobby, mingling with nature, exercising, and encouraging worship in order to maintain your mental health stability. Moreover, don't let yourself become a bully. Therefore, it's important and it's critical to think before you speak or act towards anyone. Afterwards, if you feel really fed up, you can confide in trusted people such as your parents, your family, or your best friend. In addition, support the victims being bullied is also important. Remember, when we are alone, we are strong, but when we are together, we are stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, reply with achievements that you can get through the competitions. Or according to my experience as a victim of body shaming and bullying, I secretly reduce calories, do the healthy diet, exercise in my home, and of course pursuing my hobbies by participating in various competitions so I can make achievements and show myself to the bullies that I can and I will continue to fight for myself and be braver against bullies. Because they actually know your power, but they don't want you and your power exists. So use your power wisely to show them that you are able, you are stronger, and you are unbreakable. And for all the bullies, I just want to say thank you so much for hurting me to the point where I finally learned how to love and value myself more, and of course, to be who I am today. And to everyone, remember, we were born into this world with equal rights, so absolutely no one can prevent us from achieving our dreams. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as the closing, I hope this method or solutions can help all of us to take revenge on the foreclosure perpetrators and show them that we can give back sweetly without hurting them back. And that's all gonna be the sweetest revenge for the bully. Break a leg. Thank you very much.
A little girl was watching closely as her grandmother was applying her makeup before she went to work. After she left, the little girl sneaked inside the room, looked into the mirror, took the brush and splattered all these crazy colors on her face. That little girl was me 11 years ago. Hello everyone, honorable judges and fellow contestants. My name is Noradiu Cinta Titoy from the University of Palangkaraya. As of today, I am currently 17 years old. These are my two most favorite objects. Like every other 17 years old on this planet, and I'm sure millions of other men and women, I was passionate about beauty and makeup. I think it all really stems from when I was just a little girl, watching my grandmother getting ready for work. It was like magic. I can experiment with colors, express my creativity, but it will all soon change when I reach this weird phase called adolescence. When I became a teenager, the conversations began to shift. From books, toys, and games to something like, look at that girl, she's so pretty, she looks just like Jennie from Blackpink. No wonder lots of guys liked her. Or, I don't like her face, she has these weird eyes and all these acnes. My friends, or kids my age, were also obsessed with all these beautiful celebrities, supermodels, and pop stars. It was a turning point for me. I began to realize that looks are very important in the real world. As the pressure to look like all of these beautiful people started to increase, I used my social media account to find out more about beauty and on ways for me to improve my looks. Little do I know, there's so many things wrong with my face according to these apps. Every time I open my phone, it tells me something needed improving, like how to remove your cheek fat, how to widen your eyes, how to make your nose slimmer. I began to hate myself, knowing that there's tons of things needed to be working on just to look like the beautiful girls. Makeup has lost its magic because now it has a different purpose, to cover up my flaws or to change my features. I no longer enjoy doing makeup or applying the objects from my childhood because I know no matter how many hours I put into getting ready, I will never look as beautiful as the girls I've been comparing myself with. People might say it's really shallow to worry about looks when there are so many other problems in the world. But actually, insecurities over appearance can prevent someone from reaching their highest potential. 80% of Indonesian women are not satisfied with the way they look. It's so crazy. It's a crazy number for a country with 200 million population. Other than that, 82.5% of Indonesian women defined being beautiful as having a bright and glowing skin. How can a tropical country with more than 300 ethnic groups fit themselves into this small, linear beauty standard? The answer is we can't, because there shouldn't be a beauty standard in the first place. Beauty standards have always been changing, from the ancient Greece version of having a full curvy body to the 90s American version of having a thin, extremely thin supermodel body, and the latest, the slim thick version, where lots of young girls are influenced. It will always change. We Indonesians are proud of our heritage, like our batik, our traditional food, our traditional dances, and other countries have also admired our vast culture. But what we Indonesians fail to realize is that our appearance is also very much a part of our heritage. It's beautiful to know that how we look right now is the gift from the people we have never met, our ancestors. We should embrace the uniqueness they have given us. Knowing all of these, do I still wear makeup? Yes, in fact, it has found its magic again, because now I use this to embrace the heritage I've received, to show the world the uniqueness I have, whether it fits the current beauty standard or not. I've realized that it's up to us. We should be the one responsible for our own happiness. When we want to follow the current beauty standard, we give the key to our happiness to other people. We should never try to look beautiful for others, because we are all different in our own ways. We are our own beauty standard. Thank you.
Have you ever gone to the cinemas and watched a movie before? Whether it's an action movie, fantasy, sci-fi, or even a niche movie nobody knows about. Well, after finish watching that movie, do you still feel that certain type of emotion and thought still lingering inside your mind? Whether it be in the form of sadness, fear, confusion, or even a life-changing epiphany. Well, my name is Alia Malikarshi from SMNTMBS, and I would like to tell you my story. When I was about 10 years old, I watched a movie called Hachi, A Dog's Tale. Now, this was a very, very sad tale about a dog who died while waiting for its owner. If that's not depressing enough for you, then in the ending sequence, it told us that all the events happening were based on a true story. And little me, seeing that, was utterly devastated. She was crying a river over a dog that's been dead for almost a century ago. And I know, it was dramatic, but the effect of watching Hachi still impacted me to this day, because it teaches me about love, compassion, unyielding loyalty, and it also changes my perspective on dogs. And from that moment on, I strive to become a veterinarian to help all animals in need. You see how a film can change one's perspective and possibly their lives? Well, it turns out I'm not the only one who experienced this. And I'm sure a lot of you can connect to me in some way, right? By that, I want to ask you all a question. What are films to you? Is it something to kill the time when you're bored? Or is it something to escape the harsh reality that we're living in? But what if I told you that films are more than just media for temporary pleasure? What if I told you that films can have a hidden potential to be one of the most thought-provoking, memorable pieces of art that's ever existed? Well, as we know, film had a lot of development over the past century. It began as a silent black and white film, but over the course of years it started to evolve and came along elements such as sound, music, dialogue, and even color. And by all that elements, it livens up the film with more possibilities of visual beauty and oral pleasure. And don't forget the existence of acting, also camera work, that can manipulate and enhance a storytelling into a much higher degree. So, with all these elements present, by watching a movie, we are subconsciously grasping almost all the art forms that exist. And by watching a movie, we are graced by the potentials of and beauty of visual, sound, and also acting. That's more than any book or painting can ever achieve. But what makes film more complex is that it can never be a one-man show. It needs the powerful minds and creative minds of people into one. So you have actors, directors, writers, composers, and so many more working on one film. But the core of a film is naturally the story and the message it's trying to convey. A film can be one artistic way to express one's mind. So a film can entertain us, it can educate us, it can open eyes to new perspective, it can change lives, and it can also immerse us into the world and possibly even mirroring our own reality. So, by all of this, we know that films are more than just for pleasure. Films are collaborative and multiple art forms combined to one that can immerse us into the story and the characters. And by this, I can always remember the line from the classic Singing in the Rain, which goes, "If you've seen one, you've seen them all." But for movies, it can truly never be, because each of them gives us different excitement, thrill, and thought. And now, I think that movies and films are one of the best things that ever produced in our history. Thank you.
You know, you can do a lot of things with paper. You can break it, tear it, scrunch it, drop it, or let the pieces fall like tiny little droplets of rain from the sky. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kiara Gezal-Zail from Sekolah Guru Madri Cibubur, and when it comes to acting, I like to think of the audience like this piece of paper. Now, it's not to say that I want to do all of those things above to the audience, but acting itself can affect the audience in many ways. And acting comes in many forms. Movie acting, storytelling, public speaking, and even in our everyday lives, believe it or not, we act. You, behind the screen, maybe you're a parent, and as a parent, you could be in a very important call with someone, and your kid suddenly comes up to you and starts saying, "Abba, Abba, Abba, Abba." Sorry, hold on. What is it? Hey. And so you went back to your phone, and your kid does it again. "Abba, Abba, look at what I can do." Yeah, yes, yes. What is it? You, being annoyed, would probably give them the eye and silently tell them to not put their meat gun, or else you won't be having the pizza you wanted for dinner. But you, not wanting to hurt their feelings, would go, oh my god, it's so cool, do it again. Which is why in real life you could also associate acting with lying or deceiving. You cheated on a test, your teacher asked if you did it or not, you said that you didn't and acted your way out of it. You had a bad day, your friend caught you crying, you said that you were fine and acted your way out of it. The list goes on. But of course, acting could also be used in workplaces such as movie acting. You could be having the worst day, but the moment the director says the word action, you're a whole different person. My school had a project for students to make a movie, and alhamdulillah, I got chosen to be one of the scriptwriters for the film. So every time I'd go to meetings, I would always intentionally overhear the acting coach giving advice out for the actors. And an advice that he would always repeat to them and that would always get stuck in my head rent-free is when he said, "Child, it's okay if you're acting and people look at you like a madman. Because when you're acting, you are a madman." He said to forget who you are, forget what you've been through, forget your name, friends, parents, and everything you know about yourself, because the moment you start acting in that character, you are not you. You are now that character. And when he said that, it was like an moment for me. Because it's true. You are supposed to be like the character, and you are supposed to make sure that you are able to be in depth with the character. And personally for me, one of my favorite ways to be more in depth with the character is by using their accent. Like, for example, I could be speaking in an Indian accent and people would think that I like to drink chai. Or I could be speaking in a British accent and people would think that I like to drink tea. Or I could be speaking in a Russian accent and people would think that I like to drink vodka. And so on and so forth. And depending on how in-depth you are with your character, it can vary how much it'll affect your audience. I have a teacher in school, religion teacher, but interestingly he had experience in acting. And one day he had a role where he had to be a forager for a play. So what he did was that he went to the side of the road and he actually foraged trash so that he could understand what it feels like to be an actual forager. And he was so in the zone, foraging trash, to the point that someone actually came up to him and gave him money because they thought he was an actual forager. So this proves my point. And this is actually one of the reasons why I chose this topic, because it doesn't matter how small of a role you get, if you do it right, then you can definitely fool the audience. You could break them, tear them, scrunch them, drop them, or let their tears fall like tiny little droplets of rain in the sky. Just like a piece of paper. Thank you very much for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I don't remember exactly when was the first time I started to love drawing. But as I remember, I have already started to draw in the first grade of elementary school. And of course, I used to draw a stickman a lot in my drawing book, but with hair and a skirt, making it look like Barbie. And today, drawing has become my passion. I draw almost every day and have won many drawing competitions, and yes, as you just heard, my passion has turned into something advantageous and extravagant. I mean, we all start from somewhere, don't we? What will a passion be without hard work and effort throughout the way? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Keisha Anggeta Shua Akmal from Asafa Senior High School, and today I will be talking about anything you like or passionate about. Every person has a passion towards something, right? We will happily do something that constantly follows our passion no matter how hard it is. Otherwise, the people who do not have passion might get a little confused along the way towards life, since they will have massive perceptions on what they can do. And for me, what I like to do or be passionate about is drawing. Now, drawing can mean anything in different perspectives, but I'll explain the most common one. Drawing is a visual art with art supplies on a two-dimensional surface. So yes, it means drawing on a paper in a simpler way. Ladies and gentlemen, there was once a saying that goes, in drawing, nothing is better than the first attempt, by Pablo Picasso. For me, as a person who just started drawing, from stickmans as a kid to a more developed style of art in my teenage years. Of course, it took me that long to actually make a decent drawing, but I'll say that I'm pretty proud of myself throughout those years. So, how many years exactly did it take me to make better drawings that I'm satisfied with? It took exactly 6 years, from elementary school and until now. So if people are complaining that they can never get their drawings look good in one day, you'll get in there. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in this world wants to work that is related to their passion, but there are some passions that are underestimated by some people. In Indonesia, people who draw, or you can call them artists, are not supported well enough. And it is sad to see that talented artists cannot improve their skills in this country. So it is not surprising to see if Indonesian artists move to another country to pursue their passion. Due to this fact, all my life I have been told to be passionate at other hobbies that are more useful for myself in the future. It has made me doubt myself, thinking about, should I really take down this path as an artist? Will it be worth it for my future and career? Or should I choose a job that is not related to my passion? However, after seeing my seriousness in developing my passion and the achievements that I got from it, my parents finally believed that I can be successful with this passion. It shows that when you find the people that do not support your passion, all we need to do is to prove them. By showing them our seriousness to make it worth it, I believe those people will finally change their minds and support us. So ladies and gentlemen, it's all right to choose a hobby that is related by our passion by heart. Besides, we can't really force ourselves to have a passion towards something that we don't like, right? No matter how many people underestimate that passion. As long as we work hard for that passion, we can show them that nothing's wrong to follow our passion for our job, because it can lead us to success and happiness. Because when there is a will, there is a way. I think that's all for me. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
When people ask what I like to do, I tell them that I'm an 18-year-old who likes lounging around the bed, checking the clock, and dread for my next deadline, and always leave it till the very last minute. Right. Doesn't sound very inspiring, doesn't it? The right answer should be something that makes me feel happy and passionate. Sure, I've got them as well, but there was a time where I gradually felt the things I was so passionate about slowly turned into pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my story. As a young child, I've always been very passionate about art. When I'm alone, drawing lets me melt away into a world of imagination. I spent a lot of time in this field that it eventually became a big part of my life. However, something that I failed to realize was the trap that I fell into. I'll say one of the things that made me dive into this field even more is surprisingly video games and cartoons. I remember as a 14-year-old how I peaked in this game community called Undertale, which made me become involved in plenty of art communities as well. That spark grew, and I found myself with a pencil and a drawing book all the time. It was so much fun, sketching characters, finding new media, and most importantly, meeting new friends who were also really talented with their art skills. Wow, this drawing, it looks amazing, but can I ever be as good as them? Insecurity started to loom over, but I brushed it off as just pure admiration. It didn't take long for me to receive art requests and collaborations from other artists too, which made me feel really ecstatic. But as time went on, I realized how that flame of excitement started to flicker away. Drawing, something that I've always been so passionate about, started to become a burden. What's happening? Why do I constantly feel tired every time I pick up my pencil? Why does looking at a list of art requests worry me so much? They say if you love what you do, you're never gonna have to work a day in your life. Then why has something I began loving so much started to become a pile of relentless work? I started to avoid art requests as procrastination became a friend. Things kept going this way until I came across an old digital drawing of mine. This. When I looked at it, I remembered just how proud I was after finishing this character. And the most important thing was how I enjoyed every moment of making this. This is where I ask myself, am I drawing out of passion, or has it turned into pressure? For me, that pressure started to build, thinking how my drawings weren't good enough. I formed expectations in my head to satisfy other people, which slowly became a burdening mindset. This is why it's important to tap back into the first reason why I'm passionate about art. And that is to express myself. I started doing art for the sake of art. Something that doesn't come from outside, but from within. So, if you ask myself again, I'm an 18-year-old who likes lounging around the bed, checking the clock for my next deadline, but I no longer feel dread. Sure, art can be a pressure sometimes, but one thing that I'll never forget is that it will always be my passion. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, when faced with the question, how would you define passion, how would you reply? By naming your actual passions? By stating that a passion is something that holds significant meaning to you? Well, the answer to this question can vary in over 1 million different answers. Passion is hard to define, but if I were to answer that question, I'd say that passion is a feeling. It's what compels us to do the things we love and drives us to be the best we can be. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Firial Diafairus from Asafa Islamic Senior High School, and today the topic of my speech is why passion is important. Ladies and gentlemen, surely every one of us has something we're passionate about, right? Well, growing up, I had many different passions that continuously changed. However, I only started to develop a fixed passion for English and public speaking in 7th grade. I've always known that I was good at English. However, I never really got in depth with it until 7th grade when I joined my school's English club. And if you knew me before 7th grade, you would have never known that I'd go to thing for public speaking as well. Let's just say I was those really quiet students who never spoke to anyone, let alone have the courage to speak in front of an audience.
But in 7th grade, my English teacher believed in me, signed me up for a speech competition, and also offered to train me. Now, normally I wouldn't take the offer, but since this was English, I knew that this was right up my alley. However, in the first competition, I didn't win, which broke my heart, to be honest, but hey, after that, I was much more determined to show people what I was capable of. And in the second competition, I truly did. After weeks of training and hard work, I finally won. And after that, judges and audience, it just continued on from there. Not to brag, but each English or speech competition I've ever participated in since then, throughout my whole junior high school experience, I've won. And after each competition, the fuel and motivation to work harder, do better, and get better results kept on getting bigger. That's what passion can do to someone. That's what passion has done to me. It's made me a hardworking person. But that's not it, ladies and gentlemen. It's filled a certain hole in my life. I never actually realized just how much public speaking and English meant to me until only a few months back. From 4th grade to 9th grade, I went to school here in Asafa, which is genuinely such a supportive school for kids who want to explore their passions. But in the first semester of 10th grade, I had moved to a different school, and let's just say the school wasn't very supportive in my area of passions. This caused me to step back from English and public speaking, and throughout that era in my life, I'd never felt so empty. I felt like I had lost a major part of my identity. The longer I was there, the more I felt like I had lost myself. Because not only is it my passion, but oftentimes it was my savior as well. And as stressful as competitions can be, I frequently found comfort in them. English and public speaking had become therapy to me. Because all my life, I've been a perfectionist who is massively afraid of failure and being wrong. But English and public speaking are the only things I feel like I could always do right. This is why I moved back to Asafa to rediscover my passions, because I can never truly live without him. So in conclusion, judges and audience, passion is a strong word, but it's also a strong emotion. It can be the driving force behind our actions and the motivation to pursue our dreams. And ultimately, it's something that we each have to find for ourselves, because passion is what makes life worth living. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my speech. Thank you all so much for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.